Hello, everybody. Craig Peterson here, back on WGAN. It's our last half hour together today, but fear not, we have more coming up this week. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether that's TuneIn, Apple Podcasts. I'm basically all over the place. Any major podcasting platform, you can just search for me and you'll find me. Well, if you search for ME, you're not going to find me, but search for Craig Peterson and hopefully you'll find me. Now, we have, hopefully you saw this morning's email, because we have covered a number of features there. We also have links to this week's podcasts so that you can watch those. So hopefully you got that. And then we're keeping you up to date on the latest security news that you need, the patches you have to apply at your home and at your company, the really big ones. And we define really big and really important based on how easy it is for a bad guy to use it and whether or not we know there are bad guys using it out there. In fact, we were in touch again with the FBI this week because of something we've been seeing going on. And the FBI puts all this together and shares it. So I want to put a plug out there for InfraGard. I think all 50 states now have InfraGard chapters. I think you will enjoy it if you are that person who's responsible for the security at your organization. Now, this includes obviously healthcare and financial, but even lawyers and doctors, everybody and anybody that might be considered part of the critical infrastructure is invited. And I find it really, really useful because I do get some great inside information, sometimes directly from the FBI, sometimes through the FBI's InfraGard program. Now, you're going to have to apply. They have to do this basic background check on you, and then you can become a member. And they share some stuff with you they don't share with everybody else. Sometimes I think that it's, they share with us maybe a little less than they should. I think they should share with us a little bit more. But it's well worth it if you are someone involved in security. So you've got my feeling here already, right, on IoT, the Internet of Things, and smart homes. I have some smart home equipment in our home. There's an Apple speaker. What do they call that? Apple Home? Something like that. I can't even remember now. I've got some of the Amazon Echo stuff. I've got a little Echo hockey puck. Actually, there's 2 or 3 of them in the house. And we've got one of the Amazon Fire tablets. And we also have an Amazon Echo 2, which is the one with the screen. And we use that for talking to grandkids and stuff, but also asking questions, playing music and things. It is so handy. And then we've used Apple Home to also hook up some lights and other devices. Now, the Apple Home by far has the best security design of all of the rest. It tends to be a little bit more expensive, and there are not as many vendors using it. Basically, because it's a little more expensive, and Apple, frankly, was a little bit late to that game. But we are using it to control lights in the home, which is kind of cool. So if you invest in a lot of this IoT stuff, maybe you've made the mistake of getting Google Home, maybe you're using the Amazon Echo stuff, maybe you are using the Apple stuff. Those are the 2 better ones that are out there right now. Neither Apple nor Amazon has been known to sell your information or to have any big hacks against their devices. And that's why I chuckled when I mentioned the Google Home, because it has been known to share and sell your information as well as to be hacked. And they found some apps people were using that were actually recording everything they were saying and uploading it to the internet. So stay away from that. But there are a lot more companies than just those that are in the IoT space. For instance, Verizon now has home security stuff where they have cameras they'll install, they have alarm systems. Spectrum Charter also has that type of thing. So you invest a lot of money in that, and you've heard ads on the station here for some of these different, home security devices. Wire it yourself. You don't have to wire it, just everything in between, right? Well, what happens when one of those companies decides that they don't want to be in that business anymore? That is exactly what's happening right now with Charter. Charter is killing its home security service, and it's been telling its customers that the security devices that they've purchased, they weren't on a month-to-month. It wasn't a lease. It wasn't a rental. But they're saying that the devices they purchased will stop working on February 5th. So, absolutely amazing, right? So this is Charter. You might know it as Spectrum. That's another brand name that they've been using. And over the years, some customers have spent a lot of money on these products that will no longer work. Now, I mentioned in the last segment Sonos, when I was talking about the big companies and unions left and right, both working with government to keep competition away. Well, Sonos has done something kind of similar to this Charter thing. If you have an older Sonos speaker, they will give you a discount on a new Sonos speaker because they're not going to support the older ones anymore. And they will then brick your old Sonos speaker. So the speaker that you bought and paid money for, bricking means it will no longer work. There is no way to recover it. There is no way to make it work ever again. That is a very, very big deal. And so a lot of people are upset with Sonos. But as we go forward, this is going to happen more and more and more. You're going to have internet cameras. You're going to have sensors. They're going to be absolutely useless in a couple of weeks. Now, that's bad when you consider some people, this is according to DSL reports, some people spent $1,200 on their systems. So here's a very big problem for you if you are a Charter customer, Spectrum customer, and you have their security devices. And this is something that you have to watch out for, right? It's the old question going with a smaller guy, a bigger guy, what do you want to do? Obviously, a smaller guy, like companies come to me to help them with security because they know I care, because they know it's a family business. That we have the whole family involved, obviously, as well as other people that work for us, versus going to an Ernst & Young that's going to charge them an arm and a leg, and they're not going to get any kind of attention from. But when we're talking about this type of equipment, this is where I think you get a real win by going with Amazon. They are probably going to be around. They can afford to upgrade your equipment with you. And I'm not worried about getting abandoned by them. Charter partnered now with Amazon's Ring and Abode to give customers a free equipment bundle if they buy a year's worth of monitoring. Well, isn't that wonderful? So if you're an existing customer, you can throw away all of your stuff and get new hardware for free if you sign up for a year. And if you don't own any of their existing equipment, you can still get a hardware bundle and a year of service. So the big question is why there's no way for Charter customers to keep using the devices. They're using the Zigbee specification, which I've had the Zigbee people on my show before. It allows multi-vendor interoperability for smart home products. Why can't they just switch on over to another Zigbee-based system? Well, turns out that years ago, Spectrum devices were firmware coded to prevent them from being seen and unusable within the normal universe of Zigbee devices. So this is a problem we're going to have going forward. This goes back to also data portability that we've wanted for so long. Remember, HIPAA was supposed to give us medical record portability. We could go to any doctor. They'd all have our medical records. The hospital would be able to read them. And that was more than 25 years ago, and it still hasn't happened. So I'm not going to hold my breath that these alarm systems are really going to be able to keep our, keep usefulness for the next 5 or 10 years. More than going to be going away. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk about a big event that occurred last week with Microsoft and another big event. We're going to talk about what the FBI has been saying about Apple lately. So stick around. We'll be right back. You're listening to Craig Peterson on WGAN and online, craigpeterson.com.